Hello, sunshine. Thank you so much for joining Being Awesome with Yvette, where I write and share daily messages to uplift and encourage you to want to change and do the will of God to become a stronger and better version of you. If this is something you're interested in, please hit the like and the subscribe button to be notified when I post the next message and come take this journey with me. Today, the message is trust God. The scripture is Psalm 62:5. My soul waits silently for God alone, for my expectation is from Him. We all walk around with a lot of expectations, and then we're upset when things don't happen the way we thought they should. We have to pray and ask God to give us the wisdom to see that we need to look to Him to make changes, and give us the courage to stop getting upset with other people when they don't meet our expectations, because guess what? We don't always meet God's expectations. And remember, we're all on a journey. We're all a work in progress. We're on the same journey, guys, to be better and to do better. Guys, this is something that I used to struggle with, because I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I had these expectations. It's like I would meet someone and I expect for them to have 1, 2, 3. And I would be disappointed. Or I would expect for them, how you put this? In the beginning, when you meet somebody, guys, we have this thing, oh, they lied to us, or they're cheating on us, or they're this or that. But technically, when you first meet somebody, guys, you're meeting. You're going through the transition of, maybe it's just me. So let me just talk about me, because that was my struggle. I meet someone and I expect for him to act a certain way, to treat me a certain way, to talk a certain way, to dress a certain way, to have a certain job, to live a certain way, just everything. Because, I got standards. You might not, but I had standards, I got standards. So if they didn't have, just say, for instance, they're a hard worker. They had a job, they had a car, but yet they didn't have their own place. Well, shit, I have my own place, so why couldn't they have their own place? Just stuff like that. That's what I did. Or I would say, if I can buy myself a steak and they can't afford a steak, I shouldn't be with them. Because why should I lower my standards to be with somebody who can't afford a steak? Not knowing their situation, not knowing them, not knowing what's behind it. Because, remember, I had my list. I had my expectations. This is what I expected. This is what, And God showed me. You're praying and you're asking me for things. You're praying and you're telling me you're trusting me, but yet you meet someone and you're going with your list. You're going with your standards. You're going with what you think. You're not doing what I want you to do. God said, let him do it. But guess what? Yvette was in charge. Yvette was going to do what she wanted to do. And God said, that's why you're always upset. That's why you can't meet nobody. That's why you can't, you're going to constantly be upset. But guess what, Yvette? You don't do what I want you to do. Your standards aren't where they're supposed to be. Because I'm looking at me now, because that's what God did. So God's like, how are you going to give someone else a list when there's things on you need to work on? I had this thing. It's like, they had to make this kind of money. They had to do this. They had to do that. And God said, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? So, guys, maybe it's just me, but I had to learn to trust God. And I had to take those things, those lists that I had, and realize something. If I'm going to trust God, God knows my prayers. God knows what I need. He's not going to give me what I want. God is going to give me what I need. Because guess what, guys? We want a lot. As you can see, I had a list of things I wanted. But God said, I'm going to give you all of that. But guess what? I'm going to give it to you when you're ready. You're not even ready. Guys, how many of us, if you're single, you want a relationship, but yet you still want to party, you still want to hang out with your single friends, you still want to do everything as if you're single. It don't work that way. Whether you're a guy or a girl, it don't work that way. You can't want a relationship and act like you're single. You just can't. You can't want a relationship, but yet you are still hanging out with going on dates with other people. But yet you're trying to date one person, but yet you're going out with another. You're on the phone talking to one and going out with someone else, or vice versa. You can't do that. You're going to trust God. You got to be all in to trust God. That's why we're disappointed, at least for me. That's where God showed me. You're being disappointed so much, Yvette. It's because you're putting expectations on someone that you shouldn't. You should trust me. I should be trusting God. Once I started trusting God, it's not so much that I think my expectations went down. It's just that I'm trusting God. So if you're going to trust God for a relationship, a job, or whatever, we have to stop making the list of what we're expecting. Because if we're going to trust God, we got to trust that God is going to give us what we need, not what we want, what we need. And if we're going to wait on God, guess what? We got to take because I don't know about you, but for me, I will go, oh, if they're not doing this in 3 months, or they're not acting like this in 3 months or 2 months or 2 weeks, I'm done. What if God did that to me? That's what I felt like God was saying to me. Yvette, I give you all the time in the world. You still don't have it right. Guys, anything that we're asking for from God, we got to be all in, but we got to trust God. We got to trust God. I'm just saying that now that I'm trusting God, it's making dating for me easier, because I no longer go into it with expectations about what I'm looking for as far as, what I want. I immediately say, God, I know what my eyes and my heart desires, and I know what looks good and sounds good, because, it's a look and sound for us. It's a look and sound. Look, sound, action. That's what we look for. Look, sound, action. But everything that looks good, sounds good, and action-wise is perfect, it still may not be the one. But when you start trusting God, I promise you, God will reveal to you what you need. This happened to me some years back. Met a guy, looks, hears, he was like perfect. Just said everything right, did everything right. But guess what? I went to God in prayer. And I said, God, reveal to me, show me if this is where I need to go. Guys, within 2 days, God showed up and showed out. Literally, the guy did like a 360. I wasn't even upset. You know what I did? I said, Lord, thank you. Thank you. And the reason why is because I trusted him. I didn't care what it looked like. I trusted God. I trusted God. So I'm saying no matter what you got going on, whether it's a relationship, whether it's work, guys, trust God. Put your expectations in God, because I promise you, when we trust God, God will show up and show out in our life. There is no question. There is no going back and forth. Because when God reveals it to you, you will know it. And guys, and it's not so much about in our time. Mine just happened to happen that way. But sometimes it may take a couple months. It may take a year. But still, in that process, trust God. Trust God. Come take this journey with me. Come take this journey with me to trust God. Come take the journey with me to have a better relationship with God, ourselves, so we can be better for the people in our life, or even the people that we're wanting to come into our life. Because guys, let me tell you something. No matter what, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job, whether it's starting a business, everything is a process. Everything is a process. Nothing is going to be quick. Nothing. I promise you. That's not how God works. But let me tell you something. When you trust God, though, let me tell you, it makes a huge difference in your life. God has showed up so many times on my behalf, but only when I trusted Him. When I trust Him. Come take this journey with me. Come take this journey to have a better relationship with God, yourself, and the people in your life. Please hit the like and subscribe button to be notified when I post the next message. Thank you for listening to Being Awesome with Yvette. Have an awesome day.